The Romans were well acquainted with the environment of the Dead Sea, an enclosed stretch of water lying at the lowest point on the planet. The area is arid and plant life practically non-existent. The name Dead Sea is well deserved. No fish can survive here, and the only life is on the scale of bacteria. In the sedimentation basins, the shallow water evaporates very quickly. Once evaporation is completed, a highly prized salt just has to be harvested. There is a thick layer of salt on the shore. In the sea itself, the density of the salt is so great, you don't have to be able to swim. What religion indulges in this strange ceremony? Carefully smearing yourself with mud. Yes, people come a long way to submit to this surprising ritual. The explanation. The water of the Dead Sea contains minerals that have beneficial effects, and applying mud helps you make the most of them. What's more, the atmosphere here is quite exceptional.
The air in the Dead Sea is full of oxygen, much more oxygen than at the sea level, and it's very healthy, and you feel better, and you feel very calm here. You have brome in the air.
The air, the sea, and the mud are a winning combination, especially as it doesn't stop you trying to look your best. Opposite the Dead Sea in the En-Gedi Reserve, nature is much more intense. The rock daemon is a small herbivore, so it appreciates the surprising variety of plant life. Some plants that only grow in salty areas grow alongside the reeds that can only live in fresh water. As soon as fresh water appears, pleasures change. In pools hollowed out by erosion, you have a dip to cool off. The narrow channel of Wadi David ends in King David Waterfall. The Nubian Ibex is often mentioned in the Bible, but it very nearly disappeared from the region. Today, it is protected. The female has short, slender horns. The Nubian Ibex can be recognized by the light black and white fur it has on its legs. The male's head is armed with powerful horns. The En-Gedi kibbutz, which is also opposite the Dead Sea, contains a completely man-made botanical garden. There are hundreds of plant species here, the oldest of them planted about 50 years ago. But how did they manage to grow so many different species in such difficult ground? Joël Lalugassi.
The dream of the first people to arrive here was to bring the desert to life. They did a few trials. They didn't know which plants or which trees could adapt to this soil, which was really very saline. They started planting big trees, then they carried on with other plants, and then others. And it kept on growing until it became this lovely garden.
The soil of En-Gedi is particularly suited to certain giant trees.
When I arrived in En-Gedi, this baobab was a meter high. I watched it being planted. אתם שומעים את השקט?
The south of the Dead Sea is dominated by an impressive rocky outcrop. On the top are the ruins of the Ancient Masada, a fortified stronghold that was almost inaccessible in its day. In the 1st century AD, the Jews rebelled against Roman occupation. 1,000 Jews took refuge in Masada to continue the fight against the repression that followed. They had enough supplies to hold out for months. The stronghold was well protected. King Herod had provided it not only with means of defense, but with buildings decorated with mosaics. The 2,000-year-old walls have received the attention of restorers, as has the former synagogue, the oldest in the world. The fortress also had storehouses and a bathing establishment. The system for supplying water was very clever. Charles Ayache knows Masada very well.
À l'époque hérodienne, on avait construit 2 canaux en forme de V qui captaient le petit lit de rivière qu'on peut voir ici à l'ouest. Et donc, cette eau coulait le long des canaux pour aller remplir 12 citernes. Et les serviteurs, semble-t-il peut-être des esclaves, allaient chercher cette eau dans des outres, montaient ensuite le long du sentier qui est ici pour aller remplir les citernes supérieures que l'on voit ici juste devant nous.
Nevertheless, the Romans took Masada, and rather than surrender, the defenders committed suicide. Masada became the symbol of Jewish resistance against the invader.